No, you're officially in the race. How do you feel? What's your polling telling you, and those sort of things? Do you feel you're the favorite to?
I don't. I'm a former athlete. I first of all never wanted to be a front runner. If you start up front and on top, you only got one way to go, right? No, I don't feel like I'm the favorite. I feel like I'm a candidate. I'm competing like everyone else. But of course, what I've been hearing from people the last several months when I've been listening on my listening tour and I'm meeting with folk all across the city, if it wasn't positive, I'm not as stupid as I look. If I wasn't encouraged, I wouldn't have made that decision today with my family.
Now, that's an interesting point because I brought this up just yesterday. I said someone like Oliver Thomas, someone that's known, he's going to go out in the public. People could see him walking up and going, here's that SOB Oliver Thomas. I'm a conservative. He's a hyper liberal. I'd never vote for him. And then when you walk up, they're like, hey, OT, and give you a high five and shake your hand and pat you on the back. You walk away going, that guy likes me. And then that guy mumbles back to his friend, yeah, I'd never vote for that guy. How do you balance? I mean, a lot of that's true. I'm in Lakeside Mall, couples walking by. Guys like, Corey Johnson, you're the man. I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? Then as he walks by, he goes, that guy's such a blank, and says an expletive. And I turn around and I say, oh, I'm a blank. And then I go, dude, I don't care. I'm laughing with his wife and I are laughing.
Correct.
And I'm just like, it didn't affect me one bit. But my point is, how do you know what's real and how do you know what's not real? People are going to appease you and placate you 90% of the time, even when they don't like you on the street.
Hey, man, you know what's real with how you feel about yourself, right? That's part of life. But Corey, the reason why you and I can deal with that is because we don't let it affect our core who we are. I mean, I'm blessed. If people even consider to say something nice to me, if they want to hold the bad things to say behind my back when they walk away, I think that's a blessing because nowadays people will criticize you to your face, right? So if someone says something nice and then holds the criticism to when they walk away, I think that's a win.
Hey, what's the biggest problem in New Orleans?
The delivery of city services, and that people, got to wait so long for a permit. And that's what I've heard, right? Great question. And I like talking to you because I always get good questions, actually more about the real stuff than some of the gossip and innuendo, right? The most consistent thing I've heard, whether it was in standing room only in the Garden District or in Algiers, downtown or in the East or uptown, was that, man, people want to know that City Hall works for them. I'll never forget that one lady in the Garden District, she said she feels like government is so far away from her in her community now, right? Politicians are untouchable. Services, if they get it right that day, we got to fix that. We really have to fix that.
Oliver Thomas is with us. He is officially running for mayor, city of New Orleans. What is your ascent, just kind of a macro, Oliver, your platform?
Of course, to continue this downward trend in public safety, but how do we make it sustainable? You and I have talked in the past, we were the murder capital in 6 different eras. There was a period where we had 17 years of some of the most violent crime and on that roller coaster in the history of this country. We got to have a sustainable effort, continue working with our police chief and law enforcement, as well as state and other officials, get the bad guys off the street, protect our families. The mayor has to play a role in public education. This whole battle about funding and who's on first and whose money is it, that doesn't lend itself well to a national or local conversation, especially when our children are in the middle of it. And then the other thing is, man, our economy, man. Look, if we continue to do the data center report and the economic reports that of our population is at or below the poverty level, you can't have a majority demographic of that many people in your town living from pillar to post and be safe and be wholesome. We have to come together collectively with the business community, with the different communities, and how do we stabilize, grow our middle class, and reward more entrepreneurs, especially reward them to stay here. I had a meeting with the standing room only, young entrepreneurs, right? And their questions were, man, how do you keep us here? How do you make New Orleans our first choice? once we become successful, so that other cities aren't what we're targeting once we get a financial and educational base. That's one of our biggest challenges, Corey.
Oliver Thomas is with us for a few minutes. He's running for mayor. Hey, Oliver, the state of Louisiana is very conservative, almost extreme. The city of New Orleans is very liberal, almost progressive, woke, almost hyper liberal. The state even elected a Democrat governor, not once, but twice. There's not a conservative voice in New Orleans government anywhere. Not appointed, not anointed, no one elected. I can't think of a single Republican or conservative elected in New Orleans government. You got to have some conservative voices, right? Talk about a lack of diversity. It's all Democrats.
But I don't know. I think, Corey, I think everybody matters. We need different voices on the radio, different perspectives, right? And it's not all about political party or ideology or race or gender or class or religion. I think it's about that common goal. And what is that common goal? We all want to live in peace. We all want to raise our families. We want to feel safe. And we want to know that we can afford to stay here. I don't think that's a woke or not woke or almost woke or nightmare or dream. I think that's everybody, core, everybody that you talk to. Now, I've gotten a lot of support from different walks of life because people believe that I've lived a life where I haven't excluded anybody, where I listen to everybody, where I think everybody matters. And this city is for us, not for any particular us. It's for all of us.
But saying that, wouldn't it be necessary to have some conservative voices in your administration?
I have conservative friends who are part of my think tank, man. Look, man, I have men and women that I've been fortunate. I take a look at my friendships like it was with guys I played ball in college, right? Different walks of life, different cities, different race, but we were all a team. And guess what? We had winning seasons. So, I mean, that's how I look at life. That's how I look at politics. I want the best minds, the best experts to run departments, to help foster ideas, and to help grow this city. I'm not going to exclude somebody because they're a certain race or they're a certain political party. If they got the best idea to contribute to how we help my family in this city, that would be asinine.
No, I agree. I think you publicly state, I will have white people in my administration. I will have conservative Republicans. It can alienate the black base that you have in New Orleans.
Let me say this. I think often we go by some of these people who look to polarize or to divide us. If you have the best people that help purple people aren't going to be upset if they're green people.
I hear you.
If you have women who are the best women who foster programs to help men, men aren't going to be mad that they have the best woman. So what it all comes down to is putting together your platform, presenting it to the people. And that's why this isn't a coronation, right? A popularity contest. At some point, you're going to have to talk about ideas and distinguish yourself. And I've been fortunate enough to get in front of people who are different races, different classes, different religions, different genders. And I was encouraged enough to do this.
Hey, Oliver, and I agree with a lot of what you say, especially like the dividing part, but I've got to ask this. It's about 58% black in New Orleans, about 33% white. How do you convince white people to vote for you, to consider you? How do you, key in on their interests?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And this has been one of my strengths and why I'm even relevant today and why I get support from people from all walks of life. I convince them the same way I convince black people, or Hispanic people, or Asian people, that I'm qualified, I'm knowledgeable, I have strong institutional knowledge, and I have systems and solutions that work for them, their business, and their family. I'm not going to have a white plan or a black plan. I'm going to have a New Orleans plan for us. It's about us now, Corey.
Oliver Thomas is with us for about another minute. Hang on, Miss Peaches. Let's wait 1 second. I'm going to stretch this break a little bit, Oliver.
Okay.
The past political indiscretions. How do you address that?
Man, I've owned it. I've held myself responsible, and I've grown immeasurable. I have really grown from it, right? I've learned from my mistakes. I work hard. I operate with the highest level of integrity and principles. And, man, I want to use everything I've learned and everything I've done to overcome challenges to show other people that they can do it too. Corey, you got to know, man, this is a hard knock town, right? This is if any town needs a redemption and needs to be redeemed or needs a comeback, it's this city. And I actually think my life offers that. Other people may not think so, and they have the right to do that. But if a place ever needed to come back, or if a city ever needed to understand what redemption was like, you got to know I understand that.
Oliver, am I on to something when I say I think Helena Moreno right now is the favorite? She's got about 5 times the war chest you have. I don't know how you close that gap. And lastly, and I want you to comment on all this, the number one vote